tripod. I don't know whether this streaming will be the best or not, but still in Morocco. If I realize it's not the best, I'll pause, and when I get to my hotel room, I'll see what I will do. And some people, I need an opanomy buy or your passport. So I'll try and bring more. I came out to get something, but me buy and I'm still. Let's see how I may train me there. And then me in your live streaming. If I realize it's not the best, I'll stop. Like I said, when I get to my hotel room, then I'll start the whole streaming again and to see how things go. If it's interactive enough the way I want it, we'll continue with the streaming. This in some way, after the game, you realize that it looks like any video because none of we were really stressed out and tired. So I didn't even bother to do any video after the game because the way I know my brain and I'm wanting. You could just and take a team no airport. Momo check in from the airport, you move you at the bar, your hotel. We got to our hotel around 3 a.m. So you can imagine how stressful it was. And I have the stories. Honestly, I have a lot of stories. I wish I was in Ghana. But an upon first video, the more I'm with me here, can make sure say you'll be satisfied with the kind of things that I was saying. Be informed when it comes to the things that is said to happen at Asante Kotoko. So the kind of things that is said to happen at Asante Kotoko, I'm sure that most of you would know it. We are getting to a stage that we're going to see Asante Kotoko sell lots of players. Even who's a Kotoko ton players, and I think after, yes, I report to your power from no. I realized Lea Safudukuso has also have an interview with Love FM, and he confirmed the story. Said the only thing left for Asante Kotoko now is to sell players. So Lea Safudukuso confirms Kotoko eba ton players no. Sene na no pano na medema mono se Kotoko eba beton players. They ask for Dukuso the Abba say yes. Omo beton players. Now what is the story behind the story? Why is these things happening and why is these things coming up? And there is a lot behind the scenes. There's a lot behind the scenes. And I'm a na koso ewe chiria. I'm penning for kwamo faswa omo person mutu jina ya Asante Kotoko na eba be sapa na me man from a tripod. I was just coming to get some food and go back to the hotel, and it's a better whilst I was waiting on my soul live message. I mean, I could tap phone and it's a metanasi March year call hotel. What happened? You need to know. Was a nothing in my by DK or say Motos Alexua 107 Ferrar Point in Penifo so you must say Obed Brano. A man buys him with pictures. So if you really monitor my social media handles, you post 2 pictures. I'm always about making my soul to form when I want to listen. And when you hear what is going on, you are able to know how to present the stories. Na enu atim ne ko hotel omo free hotel medical dia to me say before see free Ghana creba ne nyantie said the Kwanya Blasters for every matches now in Morocco and other place omo bo wie na no my fast air call back to Ghana na no bi and Asante Kotoko team no air plan say omo be ye So right after the game, they are moving straight to Ghana. And yeah, Wamoko could delay or baby. So you catch them and say, that is how Kotoko team in general. After before Zombeko free hotel, everybody brought his things down. We'll be adding your back because after the game, you are not coming back. And we posted a video on a brand Wamobano. Almost see from the Senanet here. And I will be honest with you, there was this kind of high spirit players where most of the players, based on their reaction, made it look like today is the day. Now, Kotoko team could you believe that yes, and 1 year or the only time we had access to the lineup was you could do stadium where venue media officer and not teacher lineup because though you know Kotoko team hotel they did not even want to give us the lineup and nobody had a problem. How can they mention here? So there was this kind of secrecy around the Kotoko lineup. You know him say a day before the Kotoko game and run on Mokoye training. And I'm saying I work for no one. Kotoko decided to mix their training. Samba was basically playing like a striker. And from here, who never be anywhere, say Donzu Babe started. But Donzu started. The Yenya lineup, Donzu. And when Kayobia no share live, I said Donzu started the Donzi. Because I was thinking, say, me who how Donzu is going to play. Oh, me who how I so why Donzu? But Donzu came in. And we answer Bechiriho. And me sure say after the game, it did not work one bit. Answer at the back did not work. We'll come to that later. Yeah, some more. Me say Adrian, Minyan coming to. So the technical team made some changes. They made a couple of changes. Ensu at the back, Samba in the middle, Adabo to the bench. You have Jau as a right winger, together with Lord Amoah, Donzu, Albert Amoah leading the attack for Asante Kotoko. Nenra, point number 1, Albert was completely out of the game. And Albert Amoah did not come to the party. If Enra, born Albert Amoah boy, Enna. Yeah, so the top player and could be able to Albert Aton. And in our mind, whilst we were in the stands watching the game, the near junior say, Abia Albert. The other kind of saying, on your fully fit. And until maybe I won't mean pulling a year, but also I did be serious and one genetic cornea maybe a chemusu. You start to get a clearer picture of certain things that were happening. Those who average, he's not there yet. So he's an average player. Peter Aqua was busy for nothing. I mean, Peter was running around Jebono, Okutabono, but he's clearly not doing anything better with the ball. Jau was completely out. Wings one Jau Koda and the Nama Jau Yani said he ran a bona Sandia Baso. The only positions that I was a bit impressed was one Obed said a year because you said Sambo Nell in the middle looks good. Said Samba won't Fiona a shame crying kakra. Joseph Amoah, the decision from Coach Karen Jito to bench a year. A branch friend Patrick Essiedo and start Joseph Amoah. Even after the game, I had a conversation and the coach was pleased with the Juma Odema Joseph Amoah because from the left side of Kotoko team, Wak did not really attack Asante Kotoko from the left side because Joseph Amoah played very well. Now in the first half, Lord Amoah was doing too much of surging forward. Now Lord the person couldn't be because now the Bibu and Jau a free in 10 one back. You ever kind of say in Finfion, I say, Nifa Fasu in Nada Edema, Lord Amoah, Lord Becono. I said, Lord, the Quasa Samba Mumba, nature and Kasai stable. But no more use Lord or Pa. And second half, no, the technical team, based on the minimum catcher, Lord Amoah said, he should not be going forward enough, on stay so that he will not be exposed and he will not be exploited. ɛwɔ ɛyɛ intenta ɛwɔ right side hɔ. So Joseph Amoah was okay. Ablo, and you see, there is one thing when he is not playing with Samba. So it looks like whenever Ablo is not playing with Samba, you don't really get the best of Joseph Ablo. After the Samba ne bar, and the modern mono, a put him. But say on a year any other player bar, he makes some mistakes that you struggle to understand, and that is Joseph Ablo. 80 from another game in the year. Players be me and Sabi net me fans or more year Jumani the way pen Joseph Amoah, Samba the goal scorer, Kwajiset Kakra, Lord Amoah Kakra. The rest, they did not come to the party. Now, WAC, they showed quality. They took advantage of the moment, and no money in the Amoah. So who's steady born now? It looks like they had enough data about Peter Akwase. Akwaneje born now. The Oma Akwane be PP born now, but so Obed media Urema Kwakwe Bibi it drew sa end the one they had a way of stopping him. Number 2, that was how they neutralized Peter Akwa. Number 2, WAC had a plan, say, Aziz Nadari, he has not been playing more times with Asante Kotoko back line. So for the level of understanding, it's almost exploited. Because Kotoko back line, Aziz, how many matches no answer ni ablabo? Joseph Amoah, how many matches? And how many matches na answer any ablo? Any answer na nkasa ni ablo na boseng. And Aziz and Swabosing. So they realized that, I don't know how they got this information, but their plan was they knew there will be cracks in the Asante Kotoko backline, especially if they decide to pass and build. So the plan was that Ostedia, they had a high pressing strategy against Asante Kotoko because of more the backing of the fans. So Kotoko phone pia bon ne ba echire a omo tumrika ekono so sene be ya Asante Kotoko mrantie no alongside Deda spectators ni ye was stance and the pressure beto so Emma pass the press all born simple when the man no about to watch. So they were making those mistakes they were Kotoko echire and they capitalized on that to get their second goal. Because second goal na Kotoko na ebo born or try so be break the WAC team, they are not able to do it. So they decide to take the ball back and recycle. And it was at that moment and almost a debut. So the pass from Aziz to Ansu, the level of miscommunication is similar to Kamara and Ansu our Gaka top 4. When you press it Ansu or share so called Kamara on, there was miscommunication. And now when you press it Aziz, our yes so called Ansu, there was miscommunication. And guess what? Bono work for the we need possession of one and a half with the ball. So we saw a much better pressing plan from WAC than that of Asante Kotoko. We saw a WAC team that almost hit the weakest point of the Asante Kotoko team. In so she game here, Ansu na ball close to Lord Amoah. And take your time and what the kind of goals Asante Kotoko conceded. And you realize that most of it or more a pulley from our side of between Ansu and Lord Amoah. Romu Yusu Opa. Now, baby, a name Momaka cancer Kotoko ball. Kwara ewa we with Donzu and Abetamwa. They come third point. Now Kotoko ball with Donzu and Abetamwa. What happened was that Wamumi and Uni who you 10 and you 9. Into that game, there's Samba any double. So mummy no jebona say betimi akọ through between Albert and Donzu one na ho because the communication was missing and the player to carry the ball was not there. Until steady at the gap was broken because some manager will be betting at the ball and pass papa. And I think yesterday they were relying on what you said. But Seth also had a big job with a branch of Bakassi. Because Bakassi needs check passes no info. As he is skin so back, I'm a samba market as is. So work had 3-man midfield, but had 2 central midfielders. And therefore, no more overcrowding. So they decide when to sit back and when to attack. So we decide say Sabri Jinechiri, Momombo, Sabri attacking. And there was a different story for Asante Kotoko, where they were really exposed. That's what I'm about. My throwback, me streaming, my throwback. Hold on. So that was the conversation. I make once a match. Inti the midfield we've been overcrowded. Inti, how do you take the ball to the strikers? In general, let's be honest. How many close to the penalty box passes? And I'll bet see about pass. It is closer to the penalty box, where what is left of a striker is to control and put the ball at the back of the net. He didn't really get much. And those sense on a it's almost all the time they need to come back. Because go now as this there was one pass to the box, and all you needed to do was Obebo shot back what. Peter Kwaninye be Obofa Abaso, and we've talked about the finishing of Peter over and over and over and over again almost every time. And it seemed not to be improving because Sabona there was a cutback and they know in said Obe Piabona to Atenemua. We did in our ball so fair. Matches be saying win chances. To say Yamay one tom, Nasa winner back one, a net necessary bottle. Into a Juma with Tim no papa. We talk about substitutions because when you are playing a game and things are not really going well for you, it's the duty of the coach to read the game, make some changes, and see how best these changes can change the game. Since I know, then at the paper ball. Number 1, Patrick Dubai Yehushe. Emmanuel Enchi Yehushe. Walid Nema Yehushe. Now there is a story in the background America on Walid Enchi. And based on what I picked from credible sources, I think they made Tony down was Amoah in Walid Enchi. Because there's a hidden injury which Amoah Kotoko surrounding him is a Walid Enchi. I'll come and talk about that when I get to that. But the point I'm trying to make is that the substitutions of Asante Kotoko in Tinya for Bibiamba. Bra coach need a change, you know. Patrick Dubai. So because you say Amoah home be nkumoni I heard you bet me nothing. Amoah out, you better who out, Peter Aqua out, and it was still the same story. In fact, time or moon po by him. And I only say work for him so jano goes. So steady, and when work make the changes after some match 3-1, it appears that these players that came from the bench wanted to use that opportunity to also score, to give the coach a headache. Say they also deserve to start. Sometimes players need to be say team be sure. Womunya chance some person ba no be shebi. Na coach, you know, next time also no we use more. And that's what work players need on board as our 2 goals. But let's ask ourselves, on the part of Asante Kotoko, when that opportunity came for Walid entry and Patrick Esue. Like I said, there are issues. I'll talk about it later. These changes did not lead to any results. And Kotoko and Amber game in terms of scoring. Amoah and Kotoko protected the kind of disgraceful score on Obed, which is a 5-1. Because these players should near 3-1. Either they are coming in to shield, to block, to make sure Kotoko will not concede again. Even if the team cannot score, not to concede again. But that was not the story. Of course. The substitutions, game strategy, tactical brilliance. Because whack, 2 matches in Nano. You can say, oh, say na, I'll bet in your fit. I'll bet in your fit. But 2 matches in Nano, but I'm on Bobo Papa. 2 matches in Nano, Papa was busy for nothing. He just ran around, nothing productive. Want me win corner, want me win free kick. So he was just running, nothing. That's what happened. Now, you no na chese. Kotoko free me pressure ba. Obi antimi kren kasa. Obi edwa. One thing I realized, I said it in the morning video, that the mindset of these players, Ewo Kotoko, esi ahuhurum. Enra, Fasien, this guy, maybe I need him to pronounce it. He's a Moroccan journalist. I know ni enampa, or buy on any enam. I no kind of compare with talk. Now, after the game, you know what didn't come. After see a Kotoko, the Kotoko back. And what he was saying is that the WAC team and the fans were surprised that the players of Asante Kotoko gave up after the 3rd goal, without even deciding that we are fighting to protect the score line and go home with a decent score line. Though there are issues about the penalty, no doubt about it. But no one said they were not fighting for the jersey or for the shirt to protect the image of Kotoko. And I may assure say bright here about tell about transna. And I see it's me through ref and can be there commonly started with some Kotoko Africa or match 5-1 da. Why have years on the catching and machine? It will be a long time ago. So why were these players not fighting to make sure that any of my pencil and as I record time tiny before? Why were these players not doing that, but giving up and allowing themselves to concede more goals and over? So he was seriously talking about the mentality of the Asante Kotoko players. I didn't know he was having issues with it. Having issues with the mentality. And now I'm saying the airport. I said it's in your school, no, na. You remember my being. Na. On the results, need to banner. My being at the top now. More did I was it. Who are no worry. As I said, Nini Bresson prepared to your school fees. And the number bet in a school there, Montino. Anyone say Ori. Anyone say Oreo. But just warrior, dear to Mr. Warrington. Results in the Bebano. They have accepted that the sort of one that these people are already winning. So they are accepting the 20th, the 30th position. That is what is happening. I said, I'm not telling you all of a sudden say women in Bob watch on baby. Timu and I'm taking and I'm here. You can play with them. You boys now, yeah, can say they can play with them. They no more team. Say women in watch on baby. They've given up. They've given up, and they were not bothered. They were not concerned. I had to say, maths and science quiz you is what convenient will be that. School beats me, but no, when you're 10. maybe a second place Munya Chimota Bine Prempe be where the second. Maybe or the bad 3 marks a beat and about when you made 15 points. Eddie are you, but 15 points in Obepino. Ufili said, oh my god, dear, Mrs. Hannah said, but 15 normally I will know okay. Maybe I do have 70. 3 now will be the 80 points to no soon. That is the perfect description I can give you. That Santi Kotoko players were behaving that will be our commerce and science quiz. This my boy be secondary school be about them. I mean, come to secondary school. I'm secondary school. Now, if you are not prempene, if you are presec, them now prempenya 80, presec, Kenya, if you are 75. No, when you bear 5. Name of Momu Bussy, Momu Fanizo. That is it. That is what was happening. That is what was happening. Accepting of defeat and making the defeat or lose become normal in their eyes. 5-1. Hey, normal. But no boys, no shirt or mutibia name. Quite almost your money, man. Like a crabby not to say, what would you our score line about my pens? And honestly, in SMP, Coach Karim Zito, your former Santi Kotoko player there, out of respect, I decided not to take a picture of Bibiano and then the posture. Out of respect, Coach Karim Zito beats me a woman. He's capable of being my father, or he is even my father. It's me sure say me kofi ni ma be my papa. Ete konebi na wasum na no. Aye din so close to tears. Na ma ko twa na picture dey abeto social media. Though I can talk about it when it happens, but I won't take a picture to make mockery of him. And now I'll share the body language of Coach Karim Zito. Ghanaian coaches no dodo na under pressure druso. Dodo na under pressure druso. As a coach, one more shebe because as a former player of Asante Kotoko, they've been to these places and they've played for Kotoko. And not one more with results or maybe you know mama wound phenomenal ball mama wash. But it looks like he saw something to have 5 goal by my viral video and a coach a ban and he was still in a denial state. I said, as I didn't see that that was Coach Karim Zito. And I will be surprised if up to Sabri or Casa player. I think wama any speech, wama any comment. Your pound born now got a different room outside the usual you kind of saying. Dressing room one players in the shower. Not to who on quantity or buy no better bus in Moody and not a bus in the Kujina airport. Me say what the baby, what the corner be. Basically sitting on the floor. And you can feel that at the national, not even as a coach, but as a fan of Asante Kotoko. Continue something like orientation. No, the pan said where you could coach 10 years. Sinkugu ba a coin was sifa. Eshim kugu ni funny different from the one you could coach 10. I don't know who say a human oil. Coach Karim Zito was devastated, and I can tell you, say, and coach Bobo Nibia, who be placed in Yakwa Kobasi Wukoto. I'm not doing PR for Coach Karim Zito. Maka, the other things you be doing, be can once them because you will be my son Tiana. I say a Kasani in Tietia. I had access to, you see, you had to team in the hotel. The board works in the book from paper, no major hopper. It's book and you can read them. They had a set piece program. The plan was maintain work from scoring the first 10 minutes, which happened against what they prepared for. Scoring of set piece, got Mishebi, corner, and a samba bepim share decent. Stopping the crosses from source. And many panimpo enya cross. And San Wababe stop the cross from source. Number 3. I am aware that Coach Karim Zito had a conversation with the goalkeeper. Say the advantage for a goalkeeper in crosses is your ability to use your hand. Whoever is going to attack you through a cross, one weapon, niti pe. But you, the goalkeeper, and nitino, on to me stretching nitino, Sabon and I want me stretching nitino. We couldn't say, head him back. He can only head it if the ball moves to his direction. But who, the keeper, say even if you move and the ball drive away from your direction, you have the ability to stretch your hands to clear it. So the plan of the technical team, even from Ghana, here said the keeper should not stay on his line when there's a set, because if you stay on your line, nipa ni jina penalty box na nto ni tipemo a bone. By the time I will react, I'll be trying to atom. So what you do is that if the defenders are not able to stop the cross from source, you are supposed to come out and hit it out. Don't stay on the line, because nipa to her and to her staying on the line is no advantage. And I'm privy to this information. And if you anywhere course, there's a coach who are pile and we Japan. For the management, I'm on that pressure down. Now let's move on to the management. I'm sure most of you people want to hear more about Amoah. I'm a monitor. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel and enjoy the amazing content that we have here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and enjoy the amazing content on the inside. Asante Kotoko best start your ton players in the power. Yes, take it from me. To us. Asante Kotoko best started at ton players. Take it from Obed. When Kotoko started sacking players after the first season of Okumanyomanko years, they brought on a lot of players. Kamara, Ablo, Samba, Enchi, Albert Amoah, Patrick Essiedu, Lord Amoah. Yeah, I'm going to be by Kamara. Now, some of these players, especially Ebimo signing as free agents, and Bebrene signing as free agents, they did not sign 3 years contract, they signed 2 years contract. So Makawa, on my channel is there. I can mention on top of my mind 8 Asante Kotoko players are contract at the end of the season. On top of my mind, Mohamed Kamara contract at the end of the season. Samba O'Neil contract at the end of the season. Joseph Ablo, the contract at the end of the season. Henry Ansu, contract at the end of the season. Andrews Intimenu, contract at the end of the season. Mama said 5. It was Peter Apa. Season the query and a contract we no renew yet. Baba Yaya signed 30 years. The last season no won. Enti minyan chepen ne paper kra mama obe 8 players. Our contract beat me at the end of the season. Now, Africa no come. Now the only major positive or inspiration that drive Ghanaian teams to go to Africa now is that Morocco to use the game to market themselves and sell their players. That is the strategy. Enunti Africa na Kotoko ko nyina. Na mpanimfo ne de do mutirim se ehu be hia so ombeton baako mienu bi. Na se ida se baako mienu no ombeton no be gina no so e de ahwese ebi mu bebere betena. No be say du ba bi a oye afu a ohia scout mi ton kokɔ ne be 3 bi ska na e be ba na de arane afu. That mentality no wo sa adwene pon e wo ho. In Africa on be born sa adwene pon e wo ho. So they were looking at how some players will be exceptional to attract teams. Then they will cash out. Because they feel that when they cash out locally, making good use of the money, you can sign other players who will equally come in and help you win the league. The African na Kotoko kunyina ne eni wo mani so mo koje. Yankɔ ne yankɔ bɔ ne mrantie ni bi ho ya akɔ na ya ton omo ama bibi akoyie. Now, under this same IMC, I am aware that when Lamptey called AFCON, there was a deal for Lamptey, which was $100,000 US. Now, Courage Lamptey 6 months contract. That time, Lamptey AFCON Wakobi. The Lamptey go AFCON Crown Bobo. Then they decided that no, they are not going to sell. They want to keep Lamptey. Lamptey did not extend his contract. In fact, after the AFCON, Lamptey was mostly injured. Until after AFCON, league near the boy na ni any abreso Kotoko abe that second. Ubekaya that time Kotoko abe that second. Asama test that first. Now penifo who say, "You beat me agi league no." The young people Lamptey no. Etefa so Lamptey ambobo papa. Want me ambobo no crazy. Want me ambobo because that time we pra na some season no kwe na Lamptey extend the contract or the call Rwanda. Kotoko enya once so $100,000 Kotoko ended up not getting even a cent from it. They dealt with Mukwala, and from their conversation, it felt like Mukwala was giving them the assurance that he would stay, would sign and play for Kotoko. Mukwala the mayor, Mukwala ko Simba, and the worst aspect of it of Simba, Mukwala only 2 years. Simba for not on, but occur as a free agent. Kotoko onward transfer in So it is something that the management are learning lessons say. When a player's contract is getting up and there are signs that he won't sign, whenever any offer deem fit bar, simple see be winner player no, and a sika won on sabekam be na Kotoko ni benya bi. Now wait me the onward shame because a bed Kotoko na transfer or the onward shame. They are willing to do that because 6 months to end the contract of a player, you don't really have much bargaining power unless the player is renewing his contract. We need to be bibiri a wo betimi agina so. Ede atwe transfer no. But so what you kakra bi na mani pa no kwa. Onward and our kokubo ni ya betimi enti ku ala call Saudi ho ba bi o se kata wa Simba furniture around 1 million or baby 500 deben. Kotoko would have gotten a percentage if Kimpo Kotoko decided so dear. Yeah, they Mukwala ema Simba free yen discount, but onward transfer 40% and Kotoko sabit me a cases scam. Therefore, Ebra ye woman, we may play some contract every year. Peter Aqua signing 3 years. Aswanesa. Now, if you don't know the story, Ebra Benasomwa Aircon, there was also a deal for Peter. Now, say Peter, if you park nearby. Now, Kotoko told Peter, that's what my park, baby. And then Penny say, do not abandon a dear. Oh, Peter is some small boy, 18 years, 19 years more. On finding my maybe about $5,000. Maybe I'm doing $10,000. I am paying mama. Name of your Jidis were back Germany. No, Bobo baby, I bear 2 years. Yami, everything I am. I'm a when your club will be at the end of the day. Peter, everything. Your tone, so 500,000 or so 1 million view, who got no percentage. But the management did not accept that. In Peter to way some work or also Pesoko. Because they be go for two gonna soon say if Peter is moving from Kotoko and he's 19 years, I feel no go 20. 3 years in Europe. The final delivery now you will be well developed in Europe. To the extent that his final delivery will improve and he can become a good player. So the super so 2 point. According to no person 2, initial money a club with Piama Kotoko no fit get well. And Kotoko don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. And Peter at this point is not willing to extend his contract. As soon a swan or cop. It was a moment Tom and the Anya Swasameko. In Tianshi, the management is aware that they can lose Peter without even having the possibility of an onward transfer from Peter. And Peter Susa in Sawaji Kakana Nemobi. Nasa only over 40% a investment that was a Peter Kobuni near Tona. You get that money. They don't want to lose that. To someone Kamara, Omba as free agent. Omba as free agent. In Sawano, one peka Krebianje. Nas when Jai Sambano. Only Kamara no Nkwa. Now, Kasom extend that they will not extend. Because Kotoko cannot give them $5,000 a month. No, you can't give them back. Samba says come. But there are clubs who are willing to pay them $8,000 to $10,000 a month. Into obey or mebo, enemy agents in Casa, me agents beba, or Ghana 3 weeks. What there was no call. Into so yes, Obed, the fatu trim say in the middle of the season, which is January. So what is a Kotoko se Kamara ya Tom? Even if it's $20,000, they will take and let him go instead of letting him go free, all in the name of winning the league. All in the name of winning the league. Samba, for the possibility of an onward transfer. Pitakwa, for the possibility of an onward transfer. So if you are a fan of Asante Kotoko, embrace yourself for some of these harsh financial transfer decisions. And I said it in the morning. People were doubting until they had the interview from lawyer Safuduku confirming that a Hokpan Sunakot. Albert Amoah at the end is the tip of the iceberg. Kwame Pukumutona. Na Kwame Chichi ni ombe diskama Kwame yako. Ombe jama Kwame yako. Ombe jama wako. Now me back I'll come and explain something. There is a big man that I've briefed Kotoko said. There's no way Kotoko will be relegated. If it's relegation, they should forget it. They are safe. But there's no way Kotoko can also keep players that are matured already. Keep players that are matured already, when they get an opportunity or when they get a deal, you can't keep them. Nipano wa chinchia wa bobo no be 28 years football age. The proper age number 32. Nasi team bi ba. Yes man $2,000 will be jaw. Into who decides so with the matured players be your pepe or they are then consistency. There is no way you are going to get that. Payini bi wa Ghana football match and seminar the actually. Kotoko and penny for. So what me picking here say? For players like Peter Amoah Mususano, you can keep them for 4 years. Season biani bia ba could be exception and what turn now they maintain your mama canon because mom's kaka krebi on beji. But who prefer Chelsea for any or more bono mono. The carry on when him say a query we no Kotoko they are. You should forget it. Any deal they will leave. And 2, you're going to pay a huge amount of money to even sign these players from your clubs, from their clubs. And unfortunately, if a Bibesa ba and some fat, is how to matured player, bear 100,000, no be banana fat, and you quickly have to, how should I put it? Give him 2-3 years and son will adapt him because he got Kobone in there. And then after now, Fankofa, now Master Kolan 2 or 3 years, no adapting. Where Sakolan Bema resale value? Where Sakolan Bema more years? And hombre, the bone is some Palana, Bonti hombre. And looks like this plan are convincing a sorrow. These are convincing sorrow they are going to initiate it. Into Joseph Ablo, the contract at the end of the season. I am telling you, say, but to company for betting out on the general. In fact, so the Musa Hamzata. Oba and Edison, but if what on that, I'm not on. Oko. Oma Jibiakoto. In design and here, embrace yourself. Samba Babokot Kacha, Samba Babokot Kacha. If in Penifone say his demands is becoming too much. And that's what I'm telling you. Now the Albert Amoah story. I can't now pay say Albert deal no. A man signing in Ghana. In fact, my catcher must say Albert had a deal from Qatar the beginning of the season. Qatar. Now Albert, I was deal the beginning of the season. And he wanted to leave. But the Penny 42 and said there is a possibility of him playing for the Black Stars. Between I could see a kind of Black Stars. And Africa now Kotoko. Kotoko bet me upon the name I'm on one casane born akosoro. Now when the value of a player increases, it means that when you are being sold, Sika Obeji as a personal one because and 2, conditions any respect any time creating now for you to survive or team now and also because the one chain no penny form for many into Black Stars, no for many soon to tell. They were kind of say a year Africa. And looks like Albert agreed to that at Tonakumaso. Now, a bra work is said Kotoko one, not do not patch it from Libya. And from the American on Senkenra, if Asante Kotoko had qualified, Albert wouldn't have moved. That I know where I'm coming from. General Hotel, na Ali Benghazi for no Kotoko Hotel. They were there. Yes, no more. I would say, based on conversation, they had agreed on the transfer fee, but signings were not done. JJ Tana and almost in science and science. And I just say, Ali for no, I unveil no my body. And the actually, yes, I know people are much concerned about the timing. And that was also a conversation. Now, there were some members who were also trying to say, but I'm say, Sikana Aba, Jenentem, because a bosha when you are branching a din command, Sa bosha. Say, a drew on over Chichuna and Waswa. One she ya na a branch any more than more was I be doing nija. Now, no, me be saying one man member said, no man to me and for blasters now convince Albert. And this is what he told me. Oboa me boss Obed. Albert in the hon. Approach no. Maybe say blasters. Any contract now assigned, then we choose. According to what I was told, the player feel that the blasters is a long shot away. What's the guarantees on the Befana? What's the guarantees on Manabo? But this one is ready. So a bird in the hand is better than a bird in the bush. So the player and his reps decided to accept the Beckham said a deal to Libya over at the end of the blasters. Because the blasters is not an assured thing for him as compared to the contract of Libya now, and they assured that near that table. Two Kotoko spending for who's on my bokakakra. Tina said the desire to keep him was also not there because Yaboka Yenteso Yemfanya Binyoma na Yankoyen. So it's going to be interesting. But like I said, embrace yourself as a Kotoko fan. Now it looks like youth team. Once you can't go to youth team, no. Normally, a youth team no more dada. Say, "Bianca go to Africa." Or lose say, "Boys on more youth team." You bought 2-3 matches will league in a final youth team in common area. But it appears that this time around, Nipana with Mura, if you can see, Woma painting policy be at all on how they can use the youth team players. Once a Jordan and Miss Ampone son Kokoluno, but Coach Karim to felt that we be with more pursue use. And until I may miss Uncle. The boy is not Musuma Bay, Musu Abe, Siako or Crow. Looks like him pennyphoning him the Amoah. I'm almost a Marantel. So Albert is out. And maybe I feel say the deal affected his performance because as a man, I'm able to pay $10,000 a month. Me from 9 the Sigma Abdul Fatih Nimbicha. Na se kubu pain not the only collapse and I'm a yenebe. Nti and from my some so Albert a when you fully fit. But probably not teaching a 9 to protect himself from any injury that could affect his move. And our Setiaman will leave it. It's going to be interesting. Some of you think that it will be the same people who will say, but we let Abisa. Okay. Tiabasa, about for blame ya. I see a hypocritical team no broso, hypo mobroso. Yan caso man, make us a place no boy. So, the bunny say will be a better. But what I'm telling you guys is that Kotoko will be heading towards a new direction, and that direction could involve some consistency. Now, yeah, 1 year can team we maintain in about 3 years. Na baby and Tokru dan yen tuano. And yes, I never cause. The management don't want another episode of Mukwala and Richmond Lamptey. If the player will not extend his contract, they will rather even take any amount so that Kotoko can have a percentage in the onward transfer. And that is what happens in the future. Until 55 minutes, any didn't come on this platform. I said, "Median come hotel, and we could do all." So So that is the Albert bit. Now it's going to be Donzu. What I say? It's going to be Donzu. And then a new job that the Missa and Kwame Puku. Now, but someone out on and Kwame Puku no what to Kwaya. Obed just half a season or share 14 goals in the event. Don't forget that Kwame so sign a year and a half if I'm not wrong. And as I do January and as a Kwame I kind of half no. I probably have to check my archives. But January Kwame Puku about 1 year. So even if Kwame Puku signed 2 years, even if he signed 2 years, what it means is that January na Kwame Puku about 1 year. Na kind of 1 year. Season be query na Kwame Puku 6 months. So even if he signed 2 years though, as a Kwame Puku signing 2 years, I got Kwame Puku January, I kind of 1 year. It is when the season comes to an end, I got Kwame Puku 6 months. Now, as a Kwame Puku signing 1.5 of the year, there's a season we have Kwame Puku to contract. I have to check my records. See, it's Kasem Minia Morocco, Hana, and Hana, it's Spain. I had to say France. And you want board them, Papa. You should be a good team to die or more keep players no feel medical bills, monthly salary. The management is really pumping a lot. General Kayako reference someone buying for certain sponsorship for Kotoko. I don't know if you are aware, Senator Kotoko can internally generate money. And the man penny any info for Abu Sensos. Enter national supporters selection. Nebra supporters for no more put to me born 20 and Nase or more register for football. So let's see. You are Brabody Goha, Ubuha, a con on Kwan, and Ibrewa giving us. Most of those for now is not up there, he's not in the best of shape for you to trust that he can lead. But the point is, it will be a bit like Papa. And when he realized that he is the only option left, sometimes they go hard to make sure they will deliver. But what I mean, as who say the Jano. So Kwame Puku, for some time now he's been training with Asante Kotoko youth team, Kotoko Accra. Number ball work, Kwame Puku has been training with the youth team. Baba Mahama has also been training with the youth team and together with some what thing they do. Mamanyane Kotoko youth team na training na a year Ghana. TNC be a Kwame Beba no be fit to come and play for Kotoko or league matches na kano. But send na American. If Kwame sign 2 years, then is ye be we remove January no. Na ka Kwame Puku 1 year. Na se Kwame Puku sign 1.5 or so there. Yes, ye be remove January no. Na ka Kwame Puku 6 months. And that is the story. Ewo Asante. Inti, but the means something very live from Morocco. We say until supporters contribute massively to the Fabu census to get money, management can never keep the players. And we shall work supporters nearby now. On say Mimblimu Kotoko Fodi because Babaya Sports Stadium there's a CAF Confederations Cup match into Omeba in their numbers. I'm talking about the WAC players or the WAC fans. It probably was in Babaya Ibianka Kotoko Subinya number close to that. But the point I'm trying to make is that see that we find a way of improving attendance, way of getting people to contribute more on the Fabu census, way of running Kotoko like a business and making money from the corporate world. And yes, I had $5,000, $6,000 na amount for Twitter. When it comes to African football, $10,000 na Kotoko, $2,000 krana dani nyame amano. You can't keep the best players. You can't extend the contract of best players, and even locally, you can't sign some of the best players. Because media matimeton player, Echo Europe, Brekum Chelsea Tom, be Kwesi Badori, and Kotoko complaining about defensive midfield because Adabo is here to settle. But Kwesi Badori Kotoko come moment me Anton, and this season the Ghana Premier League, anybody that is watching the Premier League will attest to the fact that Kwesi Badori has been super for Brekum Chelsea. Obuse Nkwala Bibiri, but he's been doing well. But so Kotoko no mentimento. First na Kotoko wafa no wafa be 5. No na windy professional no sesa. No akọ Olympics no sesa no. Now you can't do that again. Especially if you don't have, because wafa no beton akọ Europe. Or beton akọ Austria straight. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And let's wish the team all the best. It's my baby Drew Ghana and they memory that. There's a box I record to Kumasi. To a channel Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days more. Santo Kotoko will be playing a Ghana Premier League game. I think it's against Karela. Karela is also one stubborn side of power that you can't afford to lose. How they can respond and at least please the fans after such a disgraceful result of losing 5-1. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. Nti takre wa hano no amempe bibindi. Na enumre I'll be leaving Morocco tomorrow to take, and I'll get to Ghana on Monday. There's a Monday enumre the movement over the studios of Obed. Na yetimi abo Morocco nkomo ni yie. Ye hyehyɛ hyase na yɛpɛ sɛ beduru Ghana yɛ kan nyina yɛbeduru a ne yetimi aka ma bibia yetimi akoyie. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. No team in Ghana has supporters. We all have sympathizers. Real supporters are the first sponsors. Supporters are the main stakeholders and therefore has a role to play. Bye, safe journey. Thank you very much, Edu Jemfi. Confidence which trying to get the amount for those who are not able to watch the full video. But I'm sure after this video you get a better understanding of what is happening and what is going on. Bye bye.